Today I was going to make a video on the topic of trading cryptocurrencies, but it seems like I would have to postpone that because there's a lot of things happened from the yesterday's episode, and mostly there are a lot of bullish news like Bakkt setting the date for the running their platform in July, and for example rumors about eBay accepting cryptocurrencies, probably Bitcoin, right? Because you know there is a consensus in New York and there are a lot of the rumors and information leakage from there. Also Starbucks, Whole Foods, which is Amazon company, and others now accept Bitcoin. This is actually being pretty neat, but absolutely crazy that now you can use your phone just to pay for your coffee or whatever. And there are rumors that Amazon will be the next. And this is probably one of the top news which you would like to hear about the adoption of cryptocurrencies, and not mentioning such things like Microsoft launching decentralized identity tool on Bitcoin blockchain, and even Bitfinex saying that we raised $1 billion in 10 days, which is actually not dollars but tethers, but who cares, right? Well, some people do care. They say that, again, one more fraud, or at least a blatant lie. Moreover, there are news from the court process against Bitfinex and Tether, and in fact this should be translated from the lawyer's language to English, because my abilities is not enough to understand that, but it seems like all the funding moves, all the distributions of the assets should be frozen, and all the books, logs, records should not be changed or destroyed. So probably they will have a check of all their activity which may be related to the process, and many people say already RIP Bitfinex and Tether. Well, on the other hand, they were said to be buried several times, but they still have $2 billion of Tether in the market. So despite of that, or because of that, at least many of this news, Bitcoin is going up. It continues to going upwards, breaking all the resistances, and this is what I was going to show you today, guys. You may remember this channel which we drew a while ago, and I was saying that we broke it upwards, we exited this triangle, and Bitcoin is going to go to the new bull market from now on. But I was saying that as soon as we will break this line, then probably some parabolic phase like before we will observe. But I didn't expect that we will break this line that fast. So it would be reasonable to expect that we will probably return back to this channel, or at least we will not make the same rally as before. And I would like to show you a similar pattern which happened 2015 over here, very similar to what we see right now. You see these small green candles going bigger and bigger and bigger. The same is here, and the volume is growing, so we still have a little bit less volume, but probably at the point when the growth will be at the top, the volume will grow as well. And I'm not saying that it will repeat itself, but if you will just assume that the same pattern will happen again, then you see how it may go. It may actually reach something like $11,000, but as soon as we will go higher and higher and higher, it is more likely that we will have a very strong correction after reaching some peak of this move. So in my personal opinion, it would be better if we will stay somewhere around $7,000. We'll make a sideways for a few weeks, a month maybe, and then from that point, maybe after a little correction, we can go upwards again, test this trend line, so make this move a little bit more relaxed and not so fast. But if we'll do something like this, a lot of volatility is expected. And I'm not saying that of course we'll go to $11,000, but I'm saying that at this point, when you see such a price action, the Fomo could be really, really strong, and we may actually indeed go to some absolutely crazy values. But the higher we will go, the lower will fall eventually. So we will not be able to reach $20,000 and stay there without a correction. Based from statistics and historical data, it's not possible, although it's crypto and so on and so forth, but I just can't see that. Moreover, the only time when we broke this trend line was over here, when the trend became parabolic on the logarithmic scale. And if you will translate that area over here, then it will look even crazier. You will see that we actually could reach like $100,000 in the end of 2019. And in fact, just a few days, maybe a week of such a extraordinary growth which we had right now made people absolutely crazy about it. Just a few months ago, they were saying that we are going to $1,000 or $2,000, and now they say we are going to 100K. 150k, 300k at the end of 2019. On Telegram, Twitter, everybody are just getting absolutely insane. And with all my desire to see such price action, I really don't think that it's possible, guys. But what I am personally looking at right now is altcoins. Bitcoin dominance was growing and growing, and we actually touched something like 63.2%, but then we see this several attempts of altcoins to break this trend, and it's like 2% of Bitcoin dominance. It's huge changes, guys. And with this recent one, actually, you can see that a lot of the altcoins were making moves, like Binance having the volume quite strong with having higher highs and higher lows. Cardano showing this V-shaped reversal patterns on the higher volume as well. Stellar also V-shaped bottom, if it's bottom actually. Neo also showing something like this, but you may say that we had this before, very similar. That is true, but this is actually on the higher volume, and instead of going constantly down, we see those attempts of break this trend, and many other altcoins showing the same. And all the charts actually I'm showing to you guys are in Bitcoin. So IOTA like 8%, XRP made more than 10%. There is actually news about XRP that it's now available for people living in New York. But you know, this news is not that strong to make such a move. So again, probably the price action is just accidentally happened because of this news. NEM also 9% to Bitcoin, and so on and so forth. So altcoins seemingly going up. But now let's look at the weekly chart of crypto market capitalization, and if you look at the moving averages, then you'd see that the total capitalization actually went above 50 weeks moving average recently, and now it's struggling to go above 100 weeks moving average. And this move was something like around 30%, but when you will look at the capitalization of the altcoins, then you will see that it's actually went just above 50 weeks moving average, and the difference between the two is about 40%. So this is how much altcoins are different from the growth of overall market, not mentioning Bitcoin, which is actually quite higher than 100 weeks moving average. So it may imply that as soon as altcoins will start to grow after the reversal of their decline, then we may see that they will cover this gap and return their positions, and actually for most promising altcoins out there, they at least will get back to where they were before such a dump. But again, Bitcoin should stop to grow that fast and have a sideways price action in order to let the altcoins grow. Also, I was going to show you this chart of 4 altcoins which were listed on Binance after their IEO: Fetch, Seller, Matic, and BitTorrent, and they all have very similar pattern of trading more or less sideways, then going down. And here we see something is resembling the reversal, especially for Fetch and Seller. And looking at how BitTorrent and Matic actually performed, you may expect that the other two may follow at some point. And I'm not telling you to buy, guys, of course, but at least if you bought somewhere around here and didn't sell on the way down, expecting the rise to the new highs, so maybe now you have a chance to see this growth in the near future. Of course, again, if nothing outrageous will happen with Bitcoin. In any case, it's really nice to see Bitcoin finally reversing, breaking the limits. A lot of exuberance, a lot of FOMO here. Like $10,000 is really close. Just seemingly yesterday we were around $4,000, and we're not sure whether we'll go to the new low or not. But now market is full of positiveness, and everybody are calling to the moons and Lambos and so on. So it feels like 2017, which is much better than how it felt during the bear market. Okay, guys, that is it. I hope it was useful. Thank you for watching.